No one seems to be asking this question, and I have never found an answer to it, which is, if everything is love, where does fear come from? If you're all made of unconditional love, where does violence come from? Suffering. I don't want any technical explanation, You try to explain it with reasoning. That's not what I'm asking for. For example, you would say, okay, suffering is resistance to the present moment. Fear is the lack of love. I'm not asking how. I'm asking, literally the necessity of these things, the essence of these things. Where do they come from? At all. I'm not asking how they're here. How. If I don't want to over-explain here. People that get it, they get it. People that don't get it, they don't get it. I appear to be the only person asking this question because I've never seen any material trying to explain it. It seems like everybody in spirituality, they understand this. They don't have this question at all. They're just satisfied with this branch of spirituality or that branch. It satisfies them. It seems like they never need to ask this question at all because I don't understand why. Me, personally. Do they understand? Well, they would tell you, suffering is because of the ego, is because you forget your true essence. Yeah, but my question would be then, why forgetting my true essence causes suffering? If we are all within love, everything is made of love, then why isn't love unconditional? Why do I not experience love forever in all dimensions and all realities completely unconditionally? Why do I experience any suffering at all? Or any fear at all? Why do I experience the absence of love at all? Actually my question is, how do we experience even the absence of love? And you want to make the question complicated. You would start by asking me, okay, are you really experiencing the absence of love? Well, I tell you, don't play any word games here with me. My answer is yes. I am experiencing the lack of love. I am crying, I'm angry, I am sad, I am confused. None of this is love. Unless you find a way to convince me all of these are love, which I haven't been able to find. If you were able to convince me in a way that makes perfect sense, you can just tell me directly, these are all love. There's nothing but love that exists. I wouldn't believe it because that's not my experience. You can tell me that I would want to believe it. I can say I believe it, but that's not my experience. I don't buy into that. Not my body. You can fool my mind, but my body, rooted in my experience, it doesn't buy into that. I do not experience love. In fact, all my life, I've never experienced love. Never. And I think that's the case for many people. Thankfully, so I'm not alone here. And there are only people that are aware of it that are not aware of it. I think more than 50% of people. Oh, I'm not sure, actually. To be fair, I'm not sure about that, how many people never experience. Some people, I think most people, I don't know really. I think most people either have friends or family or a partner one of the three would be a source of love for them, or or they would be really comfortable with themselves. But it seems like we have to get love from a source outside of ourselves, because imagine a child brought up never loved. Always loved the conditional way. And the society doesn't teach you unconditional love. The world doesn't. You gotta figure it out yourself. I figured it out myself, but I don't know how to love myself. I don't know how to do it without somebody loving me first. At least that's been my experience so far. And and especially for people that are not spiritual, they've got to have an experience of being loved by somebody else to learn to love themselves. Without that, they wouldn't be. But how do you grow to understand yourself, grow to love yourself without an example first, without feeling it first? You say that's inherent within you. Well, let me tell you, I know intellectually, intuitively what love is, what love feels like, what isn't love, what love does, but I can't do it to myself. I got all of these things stuck in me, or I don't know what they are. Just, I am not able to love me, Love is something consistent, and I don't do that to me. Unconditional, and nor does any member of my family do that. And I've not seen anybody in real life, in my life, do that. Most people I've met in my life, they're pretty much the same. They don't know love. They don't love themselves unconditionally. So my question is, why is this all of this, the lack of love, the absence of love, which is the synonym for fear, anger, suffering. All suffering is the lack of love, the absence of love. Love, which is oneness, the lack of separation, total acceptance. That is not in my experience. My experience is fear, is anger, is depression, is loneliness. I don't experience love at all. And it seems like it's something that I have to struggle for. It's something that I have to strive for. It's something that I have to work for. It's something that I've put a lot of effort for. And that doesn't make any sense in the end, because love is supposed to be unconditional, which means effortless. You don't need to do anything to be loved. But it seems like there's so much work to do to be loved. Just being here isn't enough. Even for spiritual people, they say you have to heal yourself first. Okay, why can't I feel loved just doing nothing? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Okay, that's not my question now. My question is, why is it like this? Why is suffering so spontaneous? It seems so natural, The effortless way of being for most people is suffering, isn't love. And my question is, why? How? You say the resistance of what is. You would explain, okay? You might explain in a intellectual, which I don't want. I didn't ask for it. That's not my question. You might want to explain. That's because we were conditioned this way. We were conditioned to resist, and now that's why we were conditioned for suffering. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking, Why is it like this? Why isn't it that we were conditioned for unconditional love? And you might want to say, okay, because this world was created as a contrast. Well, obviously it is a contrast for love. Nothing here is about love in this world. Nothing here is about love. 90%, most things here aren't about love. About profit, about selfishness, about stealing, about exploitation, about ignoring, disconnection. It is a perfect contrast to love. And you know why? Why is it necessary? It must be necessary, or it must have a reason, perfect reason to support it, to be. And none of the reasons I've heard of makes enough sense for me. They all sound ridiculous. I think they convince most people. They don't convince me. For example, one of the reasons is, we need contrast. We need this contrast in order to learn to grow. Okay, to learn what? To learn love? I mean, you might say there are things we can't learn without contrast. Things such as courage, compassion. You have to have suffering in order for there to be compassion. You have to experience fear in order to know what courage is. In love, you do not know. In pure perfection, complete peace, there is no courage, no compassion. There's no need for that because there's no suffering, no fear. But then I think this answer is quite convincing so far. But my next question is, does this have to go this far? And then you might answer, the further the contrast goes, the deeper, the more profound you get to learn. Like, great suffering gives way to great compassion. Great cruelty gives great room for profound forgiveness. There's no forgiveness in perfect love because there's nothing to forgive. You don't forgive love. You forgive cruelty. And there's great fear for there to be great courage. There's great suffering for there to be compassion. And for there to be compassion, there has to be separation. Because in oneness, everything's connected. There's no need for compassion. There's telepathy. Everything's understood simultaneously, immediately. There's no space for compassion. Compassion only exists in a world where there is separation, or a world that has experienced separation. My next question then is, well, is it really worth it? We've gone this far. We've suffered so much. Don't talk shit to me about, don't talk about shit such as, it's just a blink of an eye in eternity. Well, there's no eternity, first of all. There's only the present moment. The moment I'm suffering is all there is. There's no future, no past, no a blink of an eye in eternity. There's just now. So if I'm suffering now, I'm suffering for all. I'm suffering for all of my existence. All of my existence focuses on the suffering as long as I do suffer. It's not a blink of an eye. Because there's nothing to compare it to. The present moment is all there is. Is all there has, all there that has ever been. There's not a blink of an eye compared to eternity. Even if that was true, does that sounds like a way to to disvalidate your suffering. You say, I'm really suffering, I feel so sad, and then somebody comes and tells you, don't worry about it, it's just a blink of an eye when you wake up from this dream. Well, actually, the thing is, okay, yeah, for me, when I wake up from this dream, it's a blink of an eye, it's nothing. But right now, I'm not awake. I'm still in the dream. I'm not experiencing eternity. I'm experiencing now. I'm experiencing suffering. Bullshit like that, I do not buy into. I don't know how people buy into. I think maybe it works for people. It just doesn't work for me, I think I go always deeper than all of these. I think they're pretty shallow ways. At least for me, for deep thinker, or I don't even know. It's almost an intuitive pull that pulls me under these seemingly sufficient explanations for a certain many things. And another thing that doesn't work for me is non-duality. Okay, non-duality doesn't work for me. Non-duality says the emptiness, the nothingness is what you are. Well, first of all, I do not believe in that, or at least my filters, my lenses, my perspectives that I see from aren't compatible to that, because from the bottom of my being, I know where I come from is not the ultimate neutrality, For them, non-duality sounds to me like, the complete stillness, nothingness, emptiness. It's like something that's completely lack of complete indifference, complete lack of compassion. There's no compassion because there's no understanding. There's no movement there. Like, do you get it? Think about the two words, nothingness and love. Well, I don't feel drawn to nothingness at all. That could be my essence, from your perspective, with your lenses, with your filters, and you can understand these terms and this language of non-duality, and you might tell me, okay, your essence is emptiness. That's from your perspective. From my perspective, these serious words and the language of non-duality doesn't work at all. It doesn't solve my problems. It doesn't make me feel better when I hear these words. Even when they have some practices for you to experience you as nothingness, But I can do that, for example, to feel, to experience, to feel, to find the you. And I don't see me. I don't feel me. That's right. All I feel is my thoughts, my emotions, my these and that. There's no me in here, but yeah, that's true. And so what? So what? That makes me feel really lonely. It makes me feel even lonelier, It doesn't make any. I'm not looking for. Okay, I am not there. All you have to tell me is I'm not there. I am something nameless, not nameable. Or you can call me God. I am God. And so what? That doesn't soothe my suffering at all. Not it works for a lot of people I know. It doesn't work for me. Because first of all, I do not go with these words, emptiness. For me, my system of language includes words such as love, joy, a lot of positive words, peace, perfection, not indifference, neutrality, emptiness, nothingness, the nothingness. No, that sounds like bullshit to me. That feels really, really terrible. That resonates very, very terribly with me. Not at all. Non-duality is like bullshit to me. You can also say that my my system is bullshit to you, that's fine too. That means we don't go together. You should quit watching this video. But anyways, my understanding is, I know that if anybody comes and tells me that the ultimate reality isn't love, is emptiness, well, we don't understand each other. I don't understand them. They wouldn't understand me. For me, the ultimate reality has to be love. If it isn't love, then I wouldn't exist. The ultimate reality is unconditional love. Is again, okay, that's kind of off the track of what I'm trying to say here. What I want to ask is, again, okay, like I said, I've already answered the question why I experience the things I do, the suffering, all the suffering I experience, the loneliness, the anger, the depression, the desperation, the confusion, the helplessness. They're just contrast in order for me to learn the exact opposite. What would I learn out of loneliness? I learned connection. I don't know, that doesn't sound good. It doesn't make sense, you know? Because connection is something that's there. I don't know what I learned from loneliness. I don't. All I know is loneliness is bad for you. I know depression might be good for you. Fear might be good for you because through fear you learn courage. Through anger you learn forgiveness to yourself and people that angered you. But I don't know what I learned from this connection, from loneliness. What I learned from this. I don't learn about connection through loneliness. Because connection in perfect love, which is in ultimate reality, all there is all aspects of connection. There's no more space for learning. There's infinite knowledge about connection, imperfect connection, which is the ultimate reality, which is love, joy, whatever, however you call it. You can call it your way, in your language. In oneness, there's no lack of understanding of connection, is there? What do I learn from being disconnected? All my life, actually, the biggest theme of my life is that. It's loneliness. I've always been lonely. I've always felt like an outsider. I've always felt like an alien. I've just discovered that that theme just followed me all my life, you know. Even before I started to feel lonely, which was when I was 14, 15. Look, I'm such an alien. First of all, my gender is non-binary. It's something that's not normal. You know, something alien to the society, to most people. Second, before I was 6, everything was normal in my life. But after I turned 8, I had to move to a new environment, new family, a new school. Where I had Actually, yeah, before I was 7, everything was normal. as soon as I went into second grade, I was an alien, because I was from this town, and I went to a elementary school that's in the countryside. Everybody from countryside. I'm the only person from a town. So I'm sort of an alien there. But I sort of blended in, but still, there was a gap between me and those people. Because every day we had to take different routes back home. I had to take the car, I had to do this and everything they didn't have to do. And we were treated even differently. That's from second grade to third grade. And then fourth grade, I had to move to school again. I had to move to a new family, to a new place. But I think I blended in that time really quickly. But I guess, yeah, and from fourth grade to sixth grade, everything was perfect again. The new school, I wasn't an alien for long. I had made friends, and I fitted in the family in school, but from middle school all the way to high school, this just was like that again. I was the only person from a town. Most 99% of students there are from countryside, and there were only a few in the class. Only two, actually, in the 3 under 5 in one class. A class of dozens of people. And in the first few years, actually, of me there, I was speaking the standard language. They were speaking dialect. I was an alien. And then I officially started to become an alien when I turned 16. The last 2 years of my high school, I officially turned into an alien, because now I wasn't just an alien physically, like from a different place, but now I was from a different place mentally, inside. I was a person. I was a philosopher. I was the person asking the big, deep questions nobody cared about. Everybody doing everything that was expected by the society of the world. I was not an idealist. Everybody else being realists, pragmatic, caring about things at hand. I was the only person in the clouds thinking about the deepest questions, existential questions. And I was such an alien. And that was also when 2 years before that, I became a gender, but that didn't like come into my life before really later, after later in my when I entered adulthood, when I officially acknowledged my gender, when I started to introduce myself as a gender to other people. Again, this gender thing is really not something that occupies a lot of my life at all. It's just like 1% of my life. I don't really care about this. I just know that I'm like this, and that's it. Don't mind what pronouns and things. I don't even think I belong to the LGBT. What's the word? That's group. I kind of feel like, okay, they are a group, and I'm an outsider. I don't really belong in that, because I'm someone that's quite low key on this, and it doesn't really occupy a lot of my life at all. It's not a problem to me in my life at all. Not in any way. But again, it's a thing. And then I entered university, where I felt like an alien, because I got into depression. I couldn't socialize properly. I didn't make any friends. And I felt like I felt like I was the only person from a town. All the rest of them from big cities. They felt richer than me. and it was a big city. But I didn't really care about that action back then because I was really, really depressed. There's nothing else. I was not thinking about anybody else. I'm just focused on my own problems. If I look at it now from a perspective point of view, yes, I was an alien again, both physically and mentally, and spiritually. I was a philosopher. Mentally, I was depressed. Physically, I'm from a different place. Now I'm a complete alien. I don't know, there's a fourth layer, officially formed, started from when I was 16, officially formed after my graduation from high school, which is as an alien out of this planet. I don't feel that I belong to this planet because my whole idealistic worldview system doesn't seem to fit in a world where people there's no space for dreams, for idealism here. There's just competition, ambition. There's just money, fame, violence, sex, beauty, competition. And the norm, the realism. There's no space for people like me. I became an alien from the inside out, in all ways. And another layer I forgot to say. An alien in my family. All of my family, complete, they follow this world, they fit in, they love, I can't say they love the world. I mean, they completely agree with this world, no matter they love it or not. Just like all the realist people in the world that don't follow their dreams, that think other things are more important than their dreams, that just put their dreams off, just prioritize a lot of other things than true passion, intuition, and love, They get married not for love. They get married because, I don't know, because it's their age, because everybody's supposed to have a family. They fall in love with the person, not for love, but for their money. I don't know, when they date, they check the other person's financial background, they check their appearance. These are hard standards that must be passed before considering dating a person. If to get married, you have to be rich enough. Not rich, but rich enough. And shit like this that I never think about. It's not that I don't care about appearance. It's not that I am attracted to ugly people. That's not what I mean. It's just not in my worldview that a person must have a partner that is good looking enough. I don't mean good looking. I mean good looking enough. I'm attracted to good looking people. I'm attracted to looks. But that's not like my heart standard. I can totally be partnered with a person. It's not like my value system. If you get it, I don't think I need to over-explain myself here. And I am someone that has to do everything based on meaning, There has to be, and that meaning, it comes from a deep place, a superficial meaning, which is, I study hard so that I can get a good job, and that good job is my meaning. That's not what I mean when I say my meaning. For me means, okay, why do you want to get a good job? Actually, getting a good job or not has nothing to do with the word meaning. If the job that you're thinking about, or actually, if the thing that you're studying right now isn't exciting for you, isn't your passion, then it's completely meaningless. Whatever I'm doing, if it's not something that inspires me, that excites me, somehow it's completely meaningless, you know? And, that's not in most people's consideration in this world, so I feel like a complete alien still till this day. So why did I start this topic? I was talking about loneliness, right? So the theme of my life is being an alien, which means disconnection. I think disconnection. Yeah, I can learn compassion from disconnection. Learn to understand rather than condemn. I've been condemning the world forever for the past, not 10 years, 5 years at least of my life. Because the world goes, in my eyes, this world is fucking crazy, fucking ridiculous, stupid. That's how I've been condemning it anyways. Superficial, I use ugly. These words, they've been my torture for the past few years, So, yeah, I need to learn to have compassion for why people do the way, the shit they do, the way they do, is because of very complex things for each individual. Or even look at them as a whole. To look at them from a compassionate point of view, they just want to be, or they are exactly what I am. They want to have their dreams. They want to prioritize their dreams, but somehow, helplessly, they were conditioned to do the opposite. But they would die to become an idealist. That's why I'm here. I've carved this way. The reason why I'm here being the opposite is because everybody here needs me. Every realist person that doesn't prioritize their dream is tragic. They need people like me to show them their way back. And what can I learn from my loneliness? My loneliness is when I cannot. It's really, really hard. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. It's just when I think about all the years that I've lived with no understanding, with zero companionship, with zero people, zero friends, zero residents in this world, but been thinking my way all alone. And all the depression that I had to go through, and I had to leave my family now. I don't have family, I don't have friends. I just feel really sad. I kind of feel like whatever I'm here to do isn't worth this. That's too much, isn't it? I don't care about this world. I don't even care about it. I don't even care about my life, And yes, anybody in my situation would feel exactly the same. Would feel the same loneliness and sadness, would have gone through depression. Would probably a lot of them have killed themselves. If they were me. And I was to kill myself. I'm still ready to kill myself any moment if things. Well, I don't think things can go worse from this point of my life on. I don't think I can ever go killing myself. But it's not that I wouldn't. I do not care about anything. Reincarnation, consequence, karma. Shut the fucking shit up. That whole system of language doesn't resonate with me either. I think a lot of things in spirituality, a lot of things they talk about, they aren't part of the ultimate reality. They're just language that's used for the mass to understand the world in the spiritual way because of how physicalist they've been. Physicalistic. What's the adjective for this word? They've been so physicalist, so they have to use words such as reincarnation, karma, that can fit into their belief system somehow. Or if you tell them the whole world is love, well, how are they gonna begin to understand this? Look at those people. Most of them, they've never had love. You tell them the world is made of love, it doesn't make shit sense to them. So you have to tell them the karma, consequence, reincarnation, life plan. You have to tell them in their language. For me, this set of language isn't satisfying. Isn't enough. So basically, I am not motivated to change this world. You could tell me I'm not compassionate enough. Well, if you were me, you wouldn't say that to me. If you lived my life completely lonely and for the first for the past 5 few years, because I didn't start suffering as soon as I was born, right? It's not like I've suffered for decades. It's just the later half, the past 7 years, let's say, starting from when I was, pretty much the last 7 years, I started suffering. No. I stopped suffering last year because I got into spirituality. Somehow I was saved, by my fate. Things worked out on their own. I didn't have to do anything to save. I didn't have to. There's nothing I had to do. It was just part of the plan that unfolded and saved me at the end of my 6-year suffering. Or 7, 6, just say 7. And during the 7 years, I blamed the world because it was obvious that what was causing it would be obvious to anybody that's not spiritual that the world was the source of my suffering because of how ugly and superficial, and I don't even want to list those words again. The whole fucking list of words, I've been immersed in that for so many of these past 7 years that I still haven't completely gone out of it yet. I still condemn the world a lot of the times, and only a few times I have compassion. So, it's really hard for me to have enough compassion for this world, for me to really want to change the world with my idealism. From my perspective, I kind of feel like, this world needs me, but it doesn't admit it. It rejects me on the surface, but I know in depth it needs me. It needs me fucking badly. But on the surface, it rejects people like me. They punish people like me. They curse at people like me. They think you're a misfit. They alienate us. And they laugh at you. You know, when you talk about dreams, I don't know. I don't even dare to talk about dreams with a random person you meet, right? Do you? Because they don't fucking believe in dreams. They talk about dreams to them. They fucking say upsetting things to you, such as, okay, what about the money? Where you get the money? Or, you know, oh, fuck, you're so childish. You're still talking about dreams. It's fucking children's a fairy tale. You should think about finding a good job and get steady and get retirement, pension. Yeah, that's what you should think about. Stop thinking about fucking stupid dreams. They don't feed you. They don't keep you alive. And saying shit like that, you know, that's dangerous. It's dangerous to talk about dreams to the world. That's what the world is like to people like us. They don't believe you. But they need me. I know it. I feel it. Because I don't even need to know. I just need to think with my little pinky. I know they need me. Because we're the same. Nobody wants to work a fucking hard job to sustain their life. Nobody loves this world. Everybody may be agreeing with this world, but nobody loves this shit. They might be agreeing with realism, but they want to agree with idealism. But that's out of their wildest dreams now. And that's why I'm here to bring that back in sight. I'm here to do that. But the thing I don't understand is, why do I have to do it alone? Just, at least, if I could just get one single friend in my life that had been here with me, that had validated everything that I've believed in, you know, things would be a lot easier for me. As if, you know, my suffering could be easily alleviated by a lot of the things. I could even have chosen a family that would agree with me rather than the world. And then my life would be a lot easier. Actually, it would be even easier for me to, I don't know, I don't really know how it works, but it just seems like the suffering was a part of my plan. It has to be, because it seems to be perfectly orchestrated in order for me to experience that loneliness, depression, condemnation of 7 fucking years of my fucking life. And I don't understand why. What do I get out of the suffering? And for this extended period of time, I mean, 1 or 2 years, I understand. But for fucking 3, 4, 5 years, that's too much. Because a person lives only 80 fucking years, and 7 fucking years of suffering is a fucking lot. If I live for like 800 years, let's say 7 years would be maybe a little less. But if I only live for 80 years, and I suffer for 1/10 of my life. That sounds like a fucking lie. Maybe I don't even live for 80 years. Let's say I die next year, then I would have suffered 1/3 of my life. And what the fuck does it do to me? What the fucking good does it do to me? I do not understand. That's my question. I understand if I experience fear, I learn courage. If I experience cruelty from other people, I learn forgiveness. What I don't understand is fucking 7 years of pure loneliness. What the fuck do I learn from that? I don't get it. What is the opposite of loneliness is connection. There's nothing to learn about connection. So I don't understand. I don't know even, My question still remains a question, and I've been asking for an answer, and I'm not getting it. I've been either asking the answer for the necessity of its existence or a solution to end it, and I've got neither. You say I'm not unhappy, but I'm not happy. So I do not care at all. I don't care about the world. I don't care about people. I mean, a little bit I do, but there's too many of them. Too much suffering, and I don't know, like, I don't get it. I still have to deal with my own. I haven't figured it out my own yet. And I don't understand what benefit I get from not having the answer to my question. Actually, I just need an answer to my question. I don't even need a solution to my suffering. I just need an answer to why this is necessary. Then I can move on suffering. I can continue suffering. As long as there's some meaning behind it. Without that answer, it feels to me the suffering is just complete meaningless, useless suffering. And what I'm doing is I have to assume there is a meaning behind it, which is out of my experience. I have to convince myself to believe. I have to have faith. And I do not understand what I get from doing that. I don't. And today I don't know what I can do. Maybe nothing. Maybe there's literally nothing I need to do. Maybe I just need to have fun, because that's what I've been doing with everything I can do. I just follow what I want to do, day by day, moment by moment. What excites me more than the other, even if they're pretty much the same, because, well, I don't have any other choices. I can't wait to die. If that's where I will get the answer. I can't wait. Oh, man. There are things to be grateful for. For example, that video game I've been playing is called Dragon Quest Builders 2. That's the best game ever invented on the history of games, video games. Not like action games or violent games. This is a true game of creativity and love and companionship. I think that's what all video games should be. No fucking stupid violence, no shitty, survival horror. No, just, stupid action games. Just shooting, that's what the fuck does it give you fun? I don't get it. No offense. If you feel fucking offended, then feel free to do so. I want to call it a day because I want to get up early to play that game or read a book. The book I've been trying to read. Or do both. I was gonna sleep an hour ago, but I was feeling too sad. I can't go to sleep sad because I wake up sad. I know there's a place that I come from. I've known it forever. From the beginning of my suffering, I've always known it. I'm from a place that exists just for love. And if I can't get there in my dream, then I will get there in my death. If that doesn't exist, it can exist or it doesn't matter to me at all. Because if it does exist, then I will be there. If it doesn't exist, then I will stop existing together with it. I'll be there anyways. So if in the ultimate reality there isn't love, then I wouldn't be there. And that would be perfectly fine. If love isn't the ultimate reality, then I wouldn't be there. Why am I assuming? Why am I not assuming the most pleasant outcome, which is love being the ultimate reality? Because it feels like not real, because if that was the ultimate reality, I don't know how to explain my life with that. It seems like what my life suggests is, meaningless suffering. That's my experience, It, obviously, that's not pointing towards love. That points towards maybe indifference, the vague, permanent indifference, stillness, nothingness. the big not caring at all, which is God. All there is, consciousness. The cold, hard, ultimate reality that doesn't give a shit about individual lives. And that's why I am suffering for nothing, like most people. That seems to be in line, in one logic line, in the ultimate reality being unconditional love is doesn't go with my experience, you know? But I know that's where I come from still. I don't come from a hard, cold fact, truth. Anything that's cold, I don't come from there. I come from somewhere that is warm. I could be just a fantasy, I could be just imagination, I could be just an individual or an ego that will die at the end of my life. It basically has never existed and will not exist. And then so will my dreams then, if that was the case. Totally accept it. That'll be better actually. I don't mind stop existing. I've never feared death. Just once I did. Very temporarily. If there was a button, if I push it, I would stop existing. I would push it. If I was feeling too sad, like an hour ago, I was thinking about it. And I would push it if it was here. I would push it whenever I feel too sad, whenever I feel too confused and meaningless. I can tolerate anything. But meaninglessness. As long as things make sense, I can tolerate all of it. Not logical sense, but true sense. And that's something I haven't been able to figure out yet for me. If you have figured out, you can try to tell me about it. But the thing is, my questions are really tricky, and it can appear to be a different question to which you would give an answer that doesn't answer my question. Like I gave the example in the beginning of this video. You might think you have the answer to my question, maybe you don't. My question is why? Why is there so much suffering? Why is it necessary? Why? And I want you to be... What the fuck? What the fuck am I talking to? When somebody listens to this video, maybe I'm already fucking dead. Who knows when will this video ever be heard? If you were ever to talk to me after hearing this video, I hope you are somebody that's not fucking stupid, you know? Giving fucking stupid idiot answers that I've already heard from 100 fucking videos. And I say something that's not a fucking cliche. If what you say, just think about it, if it's a cliche, if it's been said by somebody else, I've probably heard of it. To my question, I need a unique answer that comes out of very deep, long, profound thinking that you have figured out. Don't give me a fucking idiot answer that you just came up with 20 seconds ago, or you heard from, or you read from a book. It has to be something you've thought through. You've thought through from the beginning to the end in every fucking detail. There's nothing in this whole process that still confuses you. Then you can give me an answer and get ready for all the rest of my questions that will follow. Because if your answer is short, I will ask a lot of other questions. If your answer is simple, if your answer is not non-cliche enough, there will be a lot of answers and questions following. Maybe I would have figured it out myself before you heard of this video, but then I would have made another video talking about it. You know, I'll be too excited, busy with sharing it. Imagine if I knew the answer, what would I be like? I'll be completely relieved, you know. Everything would all make sense now. Everything makes sense now. Everything makes perfect sense now. I'm in complete acceptance of my every single part of my experience that I've ever had here. And I believe this moment will come, no matter it's during my life or during my death. Fucking ridiculous thing is you have to get after you die. The fucking shitty fucking. Love, love, love. Love, formlessness. Love, consistent. All including, unconditional, ever present. Love. All there is. Please tell me, why did I have to experience 7 years of loneliness in my life? Why have I never had a single friend in my whole life? I'm kind of afraid. I'm really afraid that things are the opposite of what I expect. For me, is different from what I expect. I mean, the opposite of what I'm feeling when I think about love. But what's there to be afraid of? If that was really the case, then I would be really, really sad. That's what I'm afraid of. But I've already felt that just an hour ago. I think if that was the case, then I would just feel too sad to exist. And I would just vanish into nothing forever. Like I've never existed. Because if what I believe in is a dream, then I must be a dream too. Which means I've never existed. And that's fine too. The only way I can think of, the only satisfying possible explanation for my question, is it is the preparation for something outrageously great waiting for me down there, down in the road. Well, that's the only possible answer that I think of. All the other answers, they don't make any fucking shitty sense. Fucking cliche set by other people, not thought through logical loopholes. Or it doesn't resonate with love. For example, you say karma. That whole system doesn't resonate with love. Doesn't make any fucking sense to me, karma. I don't know. I don't like this word at all. I've heard of some explanations of this word, some definitions of this word that kind of, sort of, make it bearable. That's it. But I've never liked the word. Because it's just instinctively you just feel, okay, punishment when you see the word. Or consequence, if not punishment. Consequence. Now, punishment from the third party, a consequence would be punishment coming from yourself. And that still doesn't resonate. That's a feels quote to me. A reincarnation or souls having to involve, that doesn't make fucking sense to me, this whole fucking cliche people have been talking about. First of all, I don't even bother. If you're somebody that believes in this shit like this, you wouldn't satisfy me. Please think deeper. Think wider. Think harder. Dig deeper than this. Satisfy less easily. And then we will have very deep conversations. Why do I assume that people that listen to this video are those that are gonna disagree with me? Why don't I just assume happily that the people that will find this video would be people that resonate with me perfectly? Because I don't want to get fucking disappointed. If I assume that way, and then suddenly I receive a notification for a comment for this video, I'll get all excited and find out it's a fucking idiot comment from a fucking idiot talking about a fucking cliche that I've heard of a fucking 1,000 times from fucking videos I've fucking watched for fucking 100 times in different fucking forms by different fucking people that don't come up with something new, unique, things that they've really fucking thought through. Some fucking bullshit I've heard of people is when they give an example of truly enlightened person, they say this master was sitting in a cave meditating or in deep contemplation or whatever state, or he isn't even aware when insects are eating his body. That's a fucking doesn't make any. That sounds fucking cruel, cold. It doesn't. I'm not talking about the content of this statement. I'm just talking about how this whole thing makes me feel. If he's fucking cold, it doesn't resonate. A perfectly enlightened being, first of all, wouldn't get themselves in a situation where they would be eating off by fucking insects. A fucking truly enlightened individual wouldn't be fucking sitting in a fucking cave meditating. A fucking truly enlightened individual would be one that radiates love and loves and comes out into the world spreading love, unconditional love. Would be coming out in the world smiling at every stranger. Would not be sitting in a fucking cave getting eaten up by fucking insects and not caring about it being the evidence that they are enlightened. The only fucking evidence that an individual has enlightened is that they radiate love unconditionally. Or they try. They try. They try their best. Not just outwardly, but inwardly, which is more important. They're in peace with themselves. They don't fucking slap them on their fucking face if they forget the keys. Well, obviously the masters wouldn't slap themselves on the fucking face. And that's from the non-duality group. You know, they are so damn obsessed with this idea of no thinking. They're so damn obsessed with it. And there's so much, I witnessed so many egoic wars just arguing about this. Talking about whether or not this teaching is true, that teaching is true, or that person is actually a cult, or that person is a fucking knows nothing about true non-duality and is fucking selling a fake teaching and shit like that. I don't like this community of non-duality, because they give off this feeling. I'm not talking about the content or, you know, whatever words I use to describe my feelings towards something. It's just intuitive, direct feelings. Nothing about the logic or the whatever. I'm just talking about this whole intuitive, the first feeling I feel when I expose myself to this thing, such as non-duality. You know, when I hear the words they say, when I look at them, when I hear what they say, you know, the words they say, their worldview, what I feel. If it's cold, not love, then I turn away from it. Just like video games, you know, a video game can be really, really fascinating, absolutely masterpiece. But if I play it, I feel fucking cold in my heart, such as when you play Don't Starve Together, when you play Terraria, when you play in Minecraft, when I play them, I feel fucking cold. A fucking cold, cruel world where I have to kill around, where I have to hide and escape, where I have to build for survival, where I have to be home before dark. They're fucking fantastic, great fucking games that are fucking wasted by these fucking ideas of horror, fear, violence, cruelty, complete coldness. Fucking wasted. I love these fucking games, and they have to be like that. I don't know what to say. Same with some spiritual teachings. They can make perfect sense from a lot of people, in logical sense, or their practice can work perfectly, or have been there for decades, centuries, worked for millions, generations of people. But if they make me feel fucking cold, I'm not gonna adapt. I'm not gonna take that. That's not true. Not to me. If something makes me feel less love, that's not fucking true. If I hear something and I feel this sense of great sadness rising in me, it's pretty much not true. For example, when you say things that we are bound to reincarnate over and over again until we figure something out, that feels like a fucking piece of shit, That makes you feel like a fucking piece of shit. That makes anybody feel like a fucking piece of shit. Why do so many people buy into statements like that? Because they do. Because they're conditioned to feel. They're conditioned to lack of love. So they're more acceptable, statements that retain a certain level of lack of love would resonate better to people on this planet. A statement that's completely filled with nothing but unconditional love wouldn't resonate here. Is that really true? I don't know. Could be true. I don't know, really. I don't know how the fucking world works. At least this is what works for me. A statement such as, you are accepted and loved unconditionally here right now as you are right at this moment, whatever the fuck you're doing, whatever the fuck you've done. Just leave out the fuck that I've said. 2 words, the fuck. Leave them out. I'm saying them not that I mean it. Leave them out, because that's not in the statement that I want to say. I just added them myself. Whatever you've done, whatever you will do, whatever you can possibly do, every choice you could possibly have made, you are loved. And based on that love, you wouldn't even judge yourself. There wouldn't even be karma. You would forgive yourself instantly when you go across, when you leave this world, when you die. You look at your whole life, you have infinite, complete compassion for every single thing you've done, because you've lived this life yourself. You know exactly why you had to choose those very, very, inhumane decisions, like why you had to punch somebody on the face that day. You know exactly, you lived it. You have that infinite compassion, and there's no fucking karma out of that. You don't judge yourself. There's nowhere to judge. You are the last person to judge you. If there were anybody in the universe to judge you, there's no karma. Let's say karma doesn't fucking exist. Karma is a fucking story told on this planet, within this language system. In a way, maybe for a lot of people, help a lot of people understand how this world works, because they can't get really close to how really the world works. But the concept of karma could get them a tiny little bit of closer. But not close enough to be close at all, but just a tiny little bit. Somehow the concept of karma can help them because somehow that works. But that is just far from the truth. Even the idea of incarnation, reincarnation, you know. Well, reincarnation could be true, but it would just not be. Okay, I'm gonna go to fucking sleep now.